Okay. We're going to start this with a couple of quick opens. The scene begins with the echo of footsteps, heavy, disjointed thuds reverberating through a stone corridor. Each step is hesitant, uneven, resembling the fragile gait of a newborn foal tentatively navigating its first moments in an alien world. A shrill, incessant ringing reverberates within the ears of a figure stumbling forward. Their mouth is parched, their vision swims in a haze, yet a voice, ethereal and insistent, calls out. Disembodied but urgent. It guides them, compels them to move faster, to persist. Behind this figure, a cacophony erupts, a metallic screech that slices through the oppressive air like a jagged blade. The sound reverberates with an almost sentient malice, a taunting resonance that makes the stone walls tremble as though recoiling in dread. The very atmosphere crackles with the palpable energy, a sharp, acrid tang of ozone that coats the tongue and pricks the skin. Run, the voice commands, cutting through the haze. You must run. The figure stumbles, their unsteady rhythm faltering before the primal instinct to survive overrides their disorientation. Gathering momentum, their feet pound the stone floor with increasing urgency, the echoes ricocheting off the enclosing walls. The corridor's end looms ahead, a terminus marked by a towering window framed in fractured moonlight. The mechanical cacophony behind grows deafening, a crescendo of clanking gears and screeching metal that surges closer with every passing moment. The corridor seems to close in, an oppressive tunnel with no escape but the gaping glass before you. The voice speaks again, firm and undeniable. Jump. It's your only chance. Without hesitation, the figure propels themselves forward. The glass shatters in an explosion of glittering shards, cascading them like falling stars as they plummet into the void below. The wind rushes past in a keening wail, and time stretches into eternity. The impact comes suddenly, the icy embrace of water swallowing them whole, a numbing cocoon that drowns the screeching chaos above. In the murky depths, the figures surrounding twists into an eerie tableau. The water churns with spectral apparitions, countless ghostly visages coalescing from the gloom. They spiral closer, forming a vortex of translucent forms radiating an outwardly luminescence. The maelstrom swirls around them, a tempest of restless spirits, their expressions unreadable yet undeniably drawn toward the intruder. From the heart of the vortex, a single hand emerges, pale, ethereal, and outstretched in silent invitation. The figure extends their own trembling hand to meet this ghostly one, their breath hitching as they grasp for the spectral appendage. The cold sears their skin, the contact impossibly light yet overwhelmingly present. And then darkness engulfs their visions just as the fingers interlace with the ghostly hand, and the world fades to black. We'll move on to our second scene. A gathering of hooded figures stands solemnly in a foreboding circle, their forms silhouetted against the flickering light of torches affixed to a stone wall. The flames cast writhing shadows, grotesque and alive, their shapes seeming to mock the sanctity of the space. These dark reflections move with malevolent intent as though eagerly anticipating the unspeakable rituals about to unfold. From the group rises a guttural murmur, a chant, ancient and profane, words spoken in a language older than the stones beneath these figures' feet. The cadence of their voices builds, a dreadful harmony that reverberates through the chamber. Beneath their feet, intricate arcane sigils carved into the floor begin to glow, a sinister red light spilling forth like the embers of hell itself, pulsating in rhythm with their invocations. Amid this scene, muffled cries pierce the grim symphony, desperate and raw. A woman, bound cruelly to a stone tablet at the circle's center, writhes against her restraints. Her wrist, slit with precision, weep crimson rivulets that snake down her arms and drip onto the floor, merging with the glowing sigils. The blood seems alive, spreading and feeding the eternal light, which grows ever brighter and more insidious. From the circle steps a figure cloaked in robes more ornate than the others. His hood frames a face obscured by darkness, though an aura of authority and unholy purpose emanates from him. In his hand, he brandishes a dagger, its blade a masterpiece of malevolence, etched with runes that seem to shift and writhe, pulsating in tandem with the sigils. Slowly, deliberately, he moves to the head of the tablet, his silhouette towering over the bound woman. The chanting crescendos as he raises the dagger high, his voice rising above the others in a blasphemous passage of infernal scripture. The air thickens, oppressive and electric, the energy in the room threatening to choke all who dare breathe it. And with a final guttural incantation, the dagger arcs downward, aiming for the woman's heart. But what follows is not her scream. Instead, an ear-splitting wail erupts from the circle itself, a cacophony of raw, primal terror. The hooded figures clutch at their throats, their chants dissolving into desperate, strangled cries. A violent force surges outward, and the chamber is filled with the grotesque sound of flesh tearing and bones splintering. Limbs are wrenched from bodies with sickening cracks as viscera splatters the walls and begins to pool on the floor in obscene abundance. The torchlight flickers wildly, its flames reflecting the carnage in macabre detail. One by one, the hooded figures fall silent, their forms reduced to mangled remains scattered across the blood-drenched stone. The infernal glow pulses brighter for a fleeting moment before dimming, leaving behind an eerie silence that seems to stretch into eternity. Then, at last, the quiet is broken by a single, piercing scream. A final, soul-shattering cry that echoes into the darkness. Water break?
Gotta stay hydrated.
Gotta. Brings us to our third scene. Comrades fall all around you. Their anguished cries swallowed by the unrelenting malice of the manor. The house itself seems alive, its ancient walls trembling with a sinister will. Each room you crawled through has unleashed horrors beyond comprehension, grotesque abominations designed to twist both the mind and body. The air is thick with the acrid stench of decay, the screams of the dying, and the oppressive weight of despair. But there is no time to mourn. Those who fall are left behind, their agony a cruel reminder of the stakes. Your commander's voice, sharp and unyielding, cuts through the chaos. We must press on! The artifact, your singular hope, your salvation, is somewhere within this cursed place. If it is not retrieved, every sacrifice will have been meaningless. With this knowledge burning in your mind, you surge forward, ignoring the pit in your stomach as your comrades' final cries fade into silence. You burst into the laboratory, the oppressive gloom replaced by a blinding chaos of flickering light and sound. The room is alive with movement, gears turning, electrical coils sparking violently, and the grotesque machinery buzzing with an almost sentient energy. Above, an open roof channels the storm's fury, lightning rods crackling with raw power as bolts of lightning illuminate the macabre scene below. The sound of deranged laughter echoes through the chamber, a voice dripping with madness and malice. As your eyes adjust, the horrors of the rooms come into focus. Rows of glass tubes line the walls, their contents monstrous parodies of life. Twisted limbs and bulbous forms writhe within their embryonic prisons, suspended in viscid liquid that refracts the light into sickly hues. Each creation seems to watch you, their half-formed faces frozen in expressions of torment and rage. At the center of the chaos stands the architect of this madness, a figure cloaked in the arrogance of genius, his lab coat splattered with the stains that tell stories of unspeakable experiments. Before him looms his latest creation, A towering monstrosity of flesh and machinery bound together by cruel ingenuity. Sparks dance across its patchwork body, its vacant eyes glowing faintly with nascent life. But then, fate, or perhaps some cruel trick of the storm, intervenes. A bolt of lightning strikes one of the rods above, sending a cascade of energy surging through the laboratory. Machines scream in protest as gears grind to a halt and smoke billows from the control panels. Sparks erupt and violent bursts, and the air becomes suffused with the acrid tang of burning metal. Seizing the opportunity, you lunge forward, weapon in hand. The mad scientist turns, his expression shifting from triumph to panic as your strike finds its mark. He collapses, his twisted laughter replaced by a gurgling gasp as his lifeblood pools onto the floor. You wrench the artifact from its pedestal, its strange, pulsing energy radiating heat against your palms. The room plunges into darkness, the hum of machinery fading into a dreadful silence. But there is no time to linger. The laboratory shudders, the volatile energy within its walls reaching a critical point. You sprint for the exit, the artifact clutched tightly as the ground beneath you trembles. The faces of your comrades flash in the corners of your vision, their twisted forms scattered across the halls, a grotesque testament to the manor's cruelty. You reach the front door just as the spark ignites. A deafening explosion tears through the manor. A fiery wave of destruction consumes everything in its path. Stone walls crumble, beams splinter, and machinery is obliterated in a cascade of fire and rubble. You are thrown to the ground as the shockwave ripples outward, leaving nothing but a smoking crater where the manor once stood. Gasping for air, you look up to the sky and watch as the smoke-filled night sky, obscuring the moon, fades into blackness. What a break. Our fourth and final quick open here. The warm glow of the hearth paints the room in hues of gold and amber, the flickering flames casting lively shadows across the high stone walls. The rich aroma of roasted meats and spiced wine mingles with the soft notes of a string quartet, a symphony of celebration. At the head of a hall, a nobleman raises his goblet high, a satisfied grin curling beneath his finely trimmed mustache. "To the guardians of this estate," he declares, his voice resonant with gratitude. "To their bravery, their sacrifice, and to a harvest secured." Applause ripples through the gathering as the guests raise their glasses in unison. Farmers and nobles alike share in the revelry, united by the bountiful success of the season and the safety that this figure and his battalion have provided. Laughter fills the air, buoyant and carefree, and for a fleeting moment, you allow yourself to bask in the warmth of their gratitude. The weight of battle, of the endless nights spent warding off vampiric horrors, seems a distant memory. But the illusion is shattered. The grand double doors of the hall burst open with a thunderous crash, a violent gust of wind sweeping through the room. The gale extinguishes the flames in an instant, plunging the hall into suffocating darkness. Gasps and startled cries echo into the sudden void, but it is the sound of the wind that lingers, a cold, shrieking howl that carries with it a sense of foreboding, a whisper of death. What follows defies comprehension. They move faster than your eyes can track, figures cloaked in shadow, their movement predatory and precise. Screams erupt as chaos consumes the hall. Goblets shatter, chairs topple, and blood sprays across the once festive room, staining the air with a metallic tang of violence. Noblemen, farmers, their families, none are spared. Flesh is torn asunder, the sound of ripping and tearing nearly drowned out by the desperate wails of the dying. You see them now, illuminated by the faint moonlight spilling through the open doors. Vampires, their crimson streaked fangs glinting as they revel in the slaughter. Their eyes burn with a feral hunger, their pale, inhuman faces twisted into expressions of ecstasy. You draw your blade, shouting for your comrades to do the same, but your voice is swallowed by the cacophony of terror. Your battalion rallies, but it is futile. They fall one by one, overwhelmed by the onslaught. The floor becomes slick with blood, the bodies of your comrades crumpled in grotesque poses around you. You cannot tell if the warm liquid running down your face belongs to them or to you. Then the true horror arrives. A figure steps through the doorway, his presence suffocating. He is power incarnate, a vampire lord whose very aura seems to crush the air from your lungs. His approach is deliberate, measured, and as his piercing gaze meets yours, you know there is no victory to be had here. You stagger to place yourself between this menace and the noble family huddled behind you, their faces pale with terror. Your hands tremble as you grip your weapon, your resolve faltering under the weight of his overwhelming power. He moves faster than you can react, his hand clamping around your throat like a steel vice. You struggle, gasping for breath, but his strength is insurmountable. Your vision begins to blur as consciousness slips away. Through the haze, you see her, a woman stepping forward from the huddled crowd. Her voice rings out, clear and defiant, a stark contrast to the terror that consumes the room. She pleads for your life, offering herself in exchange. No, you try to say, but no sound escapes your lips. The vampire's grip tightens, silencing any of your protests. The woman steps closer, her face a blur through your fading vision. You can see her trembling, but there is no fear in her eyes, only resolve. Words are exchanged between her and the vampire, but the sound is already fading, overtaken by the roar of blood rushing into your ears. Then you feel it. A sharp sting at your neck, a flash of searing pain followed by an icy numbness that spreads through your veins. The vampire releases you and you collapse to the cold stone floor, your limbs heavy, unresponsive. And as darkness claims you, your last sight is the vampire's retreating form, the woman in his grasp. Her face turns towards you, her expression unreadable as the shadows swallow her. The world slips away, the cold floor rising to meet you as your vision fades to black. What a break. All those scenes play over each other, superimposed as we see through your eyes these events, each and every one of you. And as that darkness takes up, it begins to retreat, slowly giving way to the haunting glow of a full moon. Its pale light spills over the landscape, casting long, twisted shadows that stretch like fingers reaching out from the abyss. The world is still, as though holding its breath, waiting for something, anything, to disrupt the quiet. On the crest of a lonely hill, a solitary figure stands against the backdrop of the night, his movements deliberate and methodical. With a rhythmic, unsettling precision, he shovels dirt from one patch of the earth to another. The sound of metal scraping against the soil, a cold, haunting accompaniment to the night's stillness. The sound is punctuated by the occasional call of a raven, its dark wings slicing through the air above, disappearing into the void. Each flurry of feathers is a reminder that this act is far removed from the world of the living. The figure is hunched over, his posture bent and tense, as though consumed by some unholy purpose. The moonlight catches the edges of his movement, casting fleeting glimpses of the strange, vicious weapon propped up against the trunk of a narrow tree. It is no fine blade, no well-crafted instrument of war. Rather, it is an abomination of rusted metal, jagged and broken, its sharp edges dulled by time and violence. It resembles a sword, but only in the vaguest sense, a twisted reflection of something once whole, now reduced to a brutal, unrecognizable mess, like a shattered saw blade. The shovel hits the dirt again with a sickening thud, the sound of the earth being moved in slow, steady succession. As the figure continues his work, the scene becomes clearer, a line of freshly dug graves stretching into the earth. 4 of them, side by side. Next to them, 4 bodies are stacked, their forms wrapped tightly in burlap sacks, lifeless and still. The moonlight gleams off the wet soil, casting an unnatural sheen on the ground. And then, the stillness is broken. One of the sacks begins to twitch, the faintest movement disturbing the otherwise motionless scene. A quiet squirm, barely perceptible at first, but unmistakable. The figure does not hesitate. His grip tightens on the broken weapon, and with a swift motion he picks it up, the blade catching the dim light as it arcs down in a violent blur. The sound of the weapon meeting the sack is a grotesque wet thud, the fabric soaked in blood almost instantly. The sack falls still. Without a word, the figure lifts the lifeless body and unceremoniously dumps it into one of the open graves. The others follow, one by one, as he methodically completes his grim task. Each body is buried without ceremony, their final resting places marked only by the dirt that piles over them with an almost mechanical rhythm. The air is thick with the smell of freshly turned earth and blood, a scent that seems to cling to the night itself. Once the last of the bodies is buried, the figure pauses, looking down at the graves. His expression is unreadable, obscured by the shadows that cloak him, but his movements are purposeful. He picks up a lantern, its flickering light casting a soft, ghostly glow into otherwise impenetrable darkness. For a moment, the light illuminates his face, a glimpse of something feral, something ancient lurking just beneath the surface. Then, with a single heavy step, he turns and walks into the blackness. The lantern's light flickers once, twice, before it begins to fade, swallowed by the night, until only the whisper of the wind and the silence of the earth remain. The figure vanishes into the void, his presence slipping away like a specter, leaving nothing behind but the faintest echo of his footsteps. You all hear a voice, disembodied in the darkness. You cannot see around you because there is nothing to be seen. Nothing but an abyss. The voice speaks to you. Ah, you're awake. Good. The journey has been long, hasn't it? Restless nights, half-whispered dreams, and yet it is only beginning. You've heard the call, haven't you? The pull of that peculiar promise, the shadowy allure of purpose veiled in mist and blood. Few resist it for long, few are ever meant to. There are lands beyond the veil of reason, where the whispers grow louder, clawing at the edges of the mind, where shadows take shape and the light bends in ways it shouldn't. To tread there is to court the unspeakable, to see too much, to become. Oh, but fret not. You've made the right choice, perhaps the only choice. There is much waiting for you out there, beyond the woods, beyond the hollow plains, beneath the crescent moon's cold gaze. The lands near Primrose. Ah, yes, you know of them. They call to those burdened with something deeper, secrets best left buried, sins unrepentant, debts unpaid. The hands of fate move strangely there, bound by blood, bound by shadow, and something older still. And you've been summoned, willingly or not, drawn to the marrow of a dying land that will neither welcome nor release you. So steel your heart, brave souls, or don't. It makes no difference. The road to Primrose is lined with graves, after all. Few who walk it ever leave whole. But perhaps you will. Perhaps. Single, dull lamp sputters to life. Its feeble glow casting long, eerie shadows that stretch across the cold, stone platform that sits lonely against this dirt road. The light flickers as if struggling to hold on to its existence, barely illuminating the platform beneath you. The air is thick with the smell of dampness, the kind of stagnant scent that clings to forgotten places. A creaking noise echoes through the stillness as though the very platform itself groans in despair. From 4 separate vantage points, as this light comes on, the world slowly starts to come into focus, with each one of you beginning to awaken. The air feels heavy, as though something unnatural is pressing against your chest. Your vision swims, blurry and disoriented, the area around you spinning. Shapes move, figures come into view, but there's something strange about them. Their proportions seem wrong, off kilter. They are standing, you think, but something doesn't quite add up. And then the horrifying truth hits you all. You are not standing. A cold, choking sensation tightens around your neck as the sudden realization crashes down through your mind like a wave of ice. A noose. Your limbs twitch in desperate attempt to move, but they are locked in place, frozen by the shock of your predicament. Your pulse races and your heart pounds in your chest. Your eyes snap wide open, focus returning in a rush of clarity. Before you, 3 figures hang, each of you struggling the same, faces obscured by the dim light. They appear as disoriented as you, their eyes flickering with the same confusion and panic that now grips you. The realization that you are all hanging from the gallows, suspended in midair, sends a cold shiver down your spine. A strange, unspoken tension begins to fill the air amongst you all as you begin to feel yourself dropping, your body jerking as your feet scrape against the platform beneath you. The noose tightens for a moment, and just as you feel like all life is about to be snuffed out, it gives way, and you drop. A sharp intake of breath fills your lungs as your feet finally hit the floor with a dull thud, sending shocks of impact jarring through your body. The disorientation lingers for a moment, pulling at your mind, clouding your thoughts. You all stagger forward, barely able to keep your balance. You look around, and these figures around you, just as confused and disoriented, remain frozen for a moment, as if unsure whether they too are alive or merely ghosts, trapped in some dark and twisted place. As the 4 of you catch your breath, let's go around the table and describe what we're looking at. We'll start with Atric Whalen.
Atric is a young man, or he was. These days he's a little bit more gaunt, a little bit more pale. The parts of him that you can see sticking out of his clothes, the base of his neck, there's a pretty wicked scar with some thick stitch marks coming through it. The ends of his sleeves, before he pulls them back down as he catches his breath to be covered by his gloves. On the inside of each arm, you see another one wicked scar along it. But he's very pale, a little gaunt. The muscles you shouldn't be able to see that well defined are a little uncanny. And depending on the light, you might see it might seem like he's steaming, smoking. There's some sort of haze that almost rolls off of him. It's barely perceptible before you can see it. But he's in dark, tattered clothes, a long leather duster that's stained and looks like blood and water, and everything's just a little bit washed out, like he spent too much time in water or near it, and before that there was an awful lot of blood spilt on his clothes. But other than that, he's got dark hair with streaks of gray or washed out gray through it, like things are slowly sapping of color. And he's probably very rapidly trying to catch his breath and realizing that he might be regaining his breath slightly faster than anyone else, because he doesn't really need to breathe.
You look through tear-filled eyes, trying to catch your breath across from you, and a woman stands before you, desperately attempting the same. Awen Eberhardt, or Eberhardt, however you'd like to pronounce it. Please describe yourself.
So, Awen Eberhardt almost looks like a Cathar, a warrior of Avacyn on the surface. Bits of Cathar's armor kind of attached in odd places, almost like it was patched together rather than this was a set given to her. Around her shoulders, though, hangs an item that you wouldn't consider typical of that order, as there's almost this like midnight, almost light absorbing black cloak that hangs from her shoulders and almost pulls into her shadow. Awen herself has blonde going on white hair. Her eyes dart around the room not as if she was more afraid of dying, as much as she seems very upset that she doesn't remember how she got here. The lapse of memory and the confusion of being in a different space is throwing her off. And to the very keen observer, one might see at the pulls of her feet, her shadow spikes out in various directions, trying to reach out and touch things in the room, but seems tethered to her feet. As she looks for the exit.
You look around and you find that everywhere is an exit. You're standing on just this like stone and wooden platform. It looks as if it's an old like either like cart stop where people would like unload things, or this used to be some sort of train platform. But it's open air, and all around you stretches out just mist-filled woods as far as you can see. There's a dirt road that travels along the front of this platform, and disappears into the forest on both sides, to the left and to the right of you. As you're looking around, you look to your left and you see a gaunt man, rather pale, but I'll let him describe himself. Hector Nostium. Step right up. Muted.
He's fairly short. He's a little over 5.5 feet tall, with very pale skin, these ice blue pale eyes, and this long kind of flowing white hair or silver hair that's currently kind of disheveled, but hangs past his shoulders, kind of in a loose spray of hair. He has a well-groomed goatee. It's fairly short, slim but dexterous. He wears a long black leather trench coat with red lining on the inside and on the lapels, a red waistcoat, vest, with this like filigree design kind of embroidered into it. It looks like a very well-to-do gentleman with a high-collared white shirt and a black cravat with a small brooch of a silver eye, kind of holding it all together. He stands there looking at everything. Just his eyes are constantly moving, constantly searching and looking for any kind of movement or anything, any sign of any abnormality in the world around him as he looks. His eyes just constantly moving. I'm assuming we are unarmed.
It looks like everybody is rather decked out.
Okay. The only thing you'd see on him visibly is a silver cane that's like designed around, the designs etched into the metal itself as it goes down are all these fanciful scroll work, and on the cap, or the handle of it, it looks like a stylized eye with a magnifying glass where the iris is.
Yeah, as you like pat yourself down and realize that most of your gear is with you, and you're looking around, the only movement you see are these three other figures that stand on this platform with you. The abnormality is how you got here. The last bits of your last memory fading at the current moment as you try to analyze and understand what's going on. And across from you, you see another woman. Saffron, lay it on us.
So you see this woman, she's about 5 feet tall, and she has like really bright red hair, and she looks pretty muscular, but her skin is pretty pale, and she has a lot of scars on her. She's kind of covered in mud and blood. She's wearing this mithril chain armor, but it looks like it's seen better days, but she has tried to like keep it polished and clean from all this stuff, but it's visible that there's stuff on it. She is she looks like kind of like Atrix. She's trying to like catch her breath, but she doesn't look like it's pretty hard for her because she doesn't breathe. She doesn't need to breathe, and you can see a lot of scars, but one very clearly you can see her left eyebrow is like cut in half with the scar, and then you see she's wearing this like long skirt kind of thing. It's like split all the way up to like her hip, and you see she has a little intricate tattoo on her right forearm. And she also looks kind of disheveled, like, where am I? What's happening? Kind of a look on her face.
The cold air suddenly becomes evident to you all as the adrenaline of what just took place begins to disperse. And you're now aware that you've just been standing on this platform for the last 5 minutes without really speaking. The platform floor beneath you is made up of wood that seems to be superimposed on top of a stone platform. It creaks and moans under your footsteps. High above you, you can see rafters where ropes once hung, snapped. The last bits of the noose falling at your feet. The light above you flickers for a moment, but then remains steady. There's a tension that fills the air, thick with unanswered questions. And you glance at each other. No words yet spoken. Seems like everybody's trying to process the situation in their own way. But you can tell that each and every one of you are waiting for someone, anyone, to break that silence.
Well, I can't say this is the worst situation I've ever woke up in, but appears we all got on somebody's bad side.
Pretty sure some folks just made a mine. Who the hell are all you?
Hector.
Are you one of the people I need to worry about, Hector?
Generally no, but as it stands, we'll see. I think we're alive together for whatever reason, but certainly not in the best of places.
There's worse out there. At least, but so far none of you seem to be lying to me and planning on killing me. I'd much prefer if you just come at me if that's the case.
Are we supposed to?
I would hope not, but wouldn't it be the first time tonight? Just for my record, all this stuff feels like it's happened to us now. Right? All this stuff is super recent that's just happened to us. The openings.
So it was the openings, blackness, and now here.
Okay. Yeah, so wouldn't it be the first time today? It may have succeeded. Belton, do you have any idea where we are?
There's a whisper. There's a whisper, but it's unintelligible. You can tell that there's a presence with you, but they either do not know where you are or just unable to tell you.
Just even the attempt at a response is Atric relaxes a touch more. Just a smidgen. And you all definitely heard Atric talk to somebody who is not there.
Curious friends you keep. That you talk
Good
to
friends.
that aren't
Good
there.
friend. more there than most folks. Kept me alive. Stops and looks at himself. Mostly. Kept me in one piece at least. Which is good. I know some folks who's, I have a score to settle with. No, I've met Hector here. Ladies, not to be rude, but would you mind giving me your name? Just to make sure you're not trying to kill me.
Well, first, I have to ask, do you speak to the Angel Shadow?
No. I speak to Felton.
Oh,
Damn good man and a better friend.
oh, well, I am, Talia.
Talia.
I hate the camera.
You
Sorry.
you are also not Talia. You are Awen.
I know, she's lying.
Oh, okay. All right. I caught on.
Well, Talia, she who speaks to the angel's shadow. You say you don't plan on killing me, which is good. Does your shadow wish to kill me? It's happened once. I'm already tired of it. Not the shadow, the dying.
Don't think they want you dead.
Good.
But as you asked, I will tell you if they inform me to.
I appreciate the heads up. That is, I think the politest way I've been threatened so far. And you, miss?
Well, hi, Atric. My name is Saffron. And I assure you that I'm not here to kill you.
Good. That means we can all be friends. Anybody know where the fuck we are?
Well, no idea. Can we make a check or something to see if we know where we are, or?
You said there was paper floating around. Can we try and snag one of the newspapers and see, like, a date? How long has it been since the last time any of us recognize a date?
You guys don't see any like papers with any like definite date or anything on them. Hardly any writing on these papers, as if it was just torn askew from somebody's handwritten journal. But the words on these papers make no sense to you at all, and give you no bearings of where you are. You can see all around you is just mist-filled forests. The road itself, as you trace its, fading visage as it begins to become overgrown by the grass and stuff and time, you see it just goes into the dark of the forest and just stops there, as if swallowed up by the darkness.
Is this just mist, or is this Nebelgast?
This is just mist. You don't feel any spiritual presence in the mist.
You said it was a full moon?
Yep.
So it's clear skies?
Yeah. Maybe a wisp of cloud or two here and there, but ultimately clear.
Any kind of like North Star situation? Anything to orientate yourself with?
The only thing that's shining in the sky right now is the moon.
Well, unless somebody's got a better plan, perhaps we should start walking. I don't think the train makes a stop here anymore.
As you say that, another voice speaks up. Tickets, please. And you look to the sound of the voice to see where it's coming from, and now standing on this platform that wasn't there before is a ticket booth. And inside the ticket booth, you see a lone man that sits behind cracked glass. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes are downcast. You just see him looking down at the desk in front of him. His hands are moving back and forth very slowly.
Felton, was that always there? For the record, when I'm speaking to Felton, I don't expect him to, respond.
I don't know about your invisible friend, but I guarantee you that booth was not there before.
Yeah, he doesn't think it was either. Atrix gonna start checking his pockets, both going over his, all of his gear, making sure everything's there. Cracks open the chest that sits on the small of his back to check out Sava's handbook. And he's looking for a ticket, amongst other things, to see if he has one.
As you were looking through Sava's journal, you get to a page where you can tell that something's slipped in between the pages, almost like a bookmark. And you go to that page and you find what looks to be like a train ticket. It has your name on it. Destination Primrose.
Damn it. What page is the bookmark in? Just curious.
It's actually marked in the last entry about ghoul callers.
Of course it is. Here's one ticket that I never purchased.
Your invisible friend has some fancy tricks.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Saffron. Saffron's gonna pat down herself and a ticket, and see if she can find one too, because she probably saw Idric one out of a book.
You search your belongings and crumpled up in one of the front pouches of your pack. You find it as well, stained with chemicals and blood. You straighten it out and it says Saffron, Destination Primrose.
Well, I guess this is my ticket, which I never purchased, and I don't know where it came from. And she looks at the other two and like, maybe you guys have him too. I don't know, magically appeared in your belongings.
I'll reach into one of the pockets of the jacket, like the inside breast pocket, and just search the pockets for whatever I got.
Your first instinct was correct. You reach inside your breast pocket on the inside of your coat, and you pull it out. There's 2 puncture marks in the corner of yours, but on it says Hector Nostium, Destination Primrose.
Awen will smile and she'll go, "It's clear the angel intends us to go to Primrose." And she will kind of check herself over. She's going to assume it's on her holy symbol because obviously it's the angel, you know.
You go for your holy symbol, and you do not find it there. You search your pockets, your pack, all over, but you do not find one. There's a cawing of a raven above you, and a single black feather floats down underneath this lamp at your feet. And as you pick it up, it lights on fire and becomes a ticket with your name, Destination Primrose. The ticket looks like it's old and scorched, as if it's been through a house fire.
Well, Talia, seems like we are destined for the same place.
Did we know of Primrose before this moment?
You've heard of Primrose. You don't know how you've heard of Primrose, but you know that you just know deep down that that is where your final destination awaits you. Your end goal, thing that pumps your heart into adrenaline. You know it lies there.
Great. Here we go. Sounds like 4 tickets for the City of the Damned.
Will I be standing next to Talia at this point, and can I see
You guys
her?
are all standing. You guys are all standing around each other.
Do I like? I know she picked up the ticket. Can I get like a little glance at it and see that her name is not Talia?
Give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. That's a 15.
With the theatrics of which it appeared and the quickness of which she was able to pull it close, you weren't able to see it.
Okay.
But you assume that it says Destination Primrose with her name on it. Tickets, please.
Saffron's gonna move forward and give the ticket to the guy. Well, I guess we are going to Primrose, guys.
He does not look up at your approach. But as you walk up, you see his hands move in slow, measured strokes over a spread of cards, each one painted with ancient, unsettling images, faded ink of beasts, fires, and towers split by lightning. He mutters to himself, words that slip and tangle through the glass, slipping out into the night like smoke. You don't hear what he says, but he punches your ticket. And as he hands it back, you see it begins to darken and becomes completely obsidian black. And the only thing that shows up on it, embossed on the blackness, is this crimson red skull. Tickets, please.
Drake closes up his trunk, locks everything away safely, and attaches it back to the small of his back, and holds forward his ticket to the man at the booth.
He takes it again, not looking, other hand moving over this spread of cards, stamps your ticket, and hands it back. And yours turns black as well, but then it begins to sparkle with a number of stars before a gigantic star appears in the center, glowing. Tickets, please.
Ladies first.
Talia will duck her head and walk up and offer the ticket. And she will go. I've never ridden a train before.
Grabs the ticket from the slot that you slid it in. This time he looks up a little bit at it, and then quickly at you, and then back down to the ticket, stamps it, and hands it back. Yours does not change. tickets, please.
I will approach and hand over my ticket as well.
He stamps yours and slides it back, and yours turns gray, dark gray. Emblazoned on the center is a glowing eye.
Now we just wait for the train, I guess.
Something tells me it would be much like the damn ticket booth and just kind of arrive.
Is there any kind of like a bench?
No.
Okay.
Say Trick will go to where a train would normally appear, or towards that edge, and lean up against the ticket booth while he waits.
Saffron is going to. I know the guy didn't really look at us, but I'm gonna. I see this. It turned black, and there's a skull on it. I was like, am I supposed to keep this? And can you tell me why it turned black and this red skull showed up?
He keeps drifting his hands over the cards for a while, not looking up at you. Just see he'll tap one of the cards and it seems to show an image of like a shadow beast, and then he flips it over and it's a bloody dagger. Moves it to the left, does the same. Not really paying attention to you. But you begin to notice that the fog around you guys is building in, and it's becoming thicker and thicker. Start to see shadows moving along as if they're blackened remnants of folks who have passed through here. You see you're no longer standing on this platform with just the four of you, but there are multiple shadowy figures that move to and fro. Atrek, you can swear that you hear the hustle and bustle of a busy train station. But it's just these shadowy figures that move about the mist. I need everybody to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Starting strong.
Oh God. Chuck, you need to perform a ritual on your computer, because digital rolling for you is not good.
You need some sage in that. Gotta get rid of the bad spirits there.
I'll go get another goat.
One of the healthy ones this time. None of that sickly goat shit.
A chicken this time. That's usually good.
No, it needs to be a child.
Just before this all goes down, I imagine Talia goes, oh, my boys always wanted to ride a train.
You have children?
She'll go, oh yes, 2 sons.
Oh,
As Awen says this, you guys watch as a spectral noose forms around her neck, and she is wrenched up into the ground, into the air, and the shadows around you guys begin to swirl and coalesce into one solid specter. Your names have been put up for the gallows. You shall not escape. You have been condemned, and you shall be punished. And I need everybody to roll initiative. Give me a moment. I'll put you on this home screen. This is going to be a theater of the mind battle.
Mhm.
Do 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 do. I will wait for the encounter. There's okay. Saffron's there. That means I can hit the button.
I'm just going to use this guy as my placeholder.
Atric, buddy, I know you're living up to like your history there with the low initiative roll, but come on, friend.
We can strangle faster than anybody else.
Historically, Atric has had some of the worst initiative rolls of any of my characters.
Can't put that over here. Theater of the mind battle, so I don't really care about the map. All I need is this. Okay. So as let me get a little bit more excited here. Music change.
What is this? Why do I have my own little picture up the left here?
Oh, that's the carousel initiative. Let me know if you hate it.
I don't hate it.
I
was
only
curious.
see me.
I like it.
Yeah, I
see
only see
anyone
me
else.
too.
It
This
might
has
be
not
because
started.
Might be because it needs to go in.
Or paused.
Yeah, it might be because it's paused. It might just be
Might
like
be.
whoever's turn it is, it pops up over there.
Yeah,
We'll
I
find
can
out.
also do it across like horizontally if that works better. You let me know at the end of this. I'm just trying to get this battle music going.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys, three of you dodge out of the way as you feel this like spectral noose start to form around your neck. You jerk forward, rolling out of the way as Awen is snatched up into the air, now kicking and fighting with this spectral rope around her neck. Let me unpause. Hector, you are the first to act as this creature forms up on the platform with you.
All right. Forgive me for forgetting what it's called because there's so many things. Nope. Try to attack actually. Turn, you make one additional weapon attack, deals an additional 1d8. So as I see this noose going around her neck and this spirit appears, you watch Hector grab the top of the cane, and in a quick motion, he's gonna throw it as he pulls the top off, and it becomes a dagger. He's gonna throw it at the thing. Why did my weapons show up on there? Alright. Fix that. Oh shit, that's really long. Attack roll. Is this thing not metagame too much? Does this thing rely on dark vision?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. I would be invisible.
No, that's important. That's part of your ability.
Yeah.
So definitely
That's-
definitely a valid question to ask.
It's gonna get annoying, I'm sure, though. Alright, so normal attack. That is a not against Atric. I don't know why I'm targeting Atric.
He even asked if you were trying to kill me.
Yep, he lied.
We actually all just start stabbing Atric.
So you fling this dagger out, and it looks as if it's just going to pass through this shadow mist amalgamation that has now formed up into a mass of like swirling, flowing spiritual robes. And as like the fabric flaps in the wind around here, you can just see the faces of those that have been judged and condemned to the gallows, resting amidst the blackness of the folds. And it looks like your knife is about to pass through without doing it harm, but the silver catches the light from above, and it bursts out with a little bit of a bright light impacting the gallows speaker.
All right. Yeah. Shit, damn it, because I don't get sneak attack. But as he throws that dagger out, you watch as it strikes the target, it reappears in his hand, and he's gonna throw it again.
Oh.
Shit.
Gurgle.
That's not gonna hit.
That would
Nice.
definitely not hit.
All right, then. No. Bonus action. Sightful fighting. Should have done this first. Forgotten about it. So I need a deception check versus my Oh no! God fucking damn it! No,
Ooh.
that's even higher. But that was the wrong button. I'm still first in initiative. Doesn't matter. Amazing.
17.
Oh shit. 11. Wow. I got beat for the first time ever.
Got you.
Should have kept the
That-
natural 20.
That won't
That was-
happen for long.
That was
You
not
get a
what I-
couple more levels. You get a couple more levels in Inquisitive Rogue, and I'll have to roll natural 20s to be that. All right. So Hector flings out this dagger, impacts this specter that's now still like kind of growing in size, almost starting to tower over you guys a bit by a couple feet. You can just hear the moans and wails of those that have been judged and collected by this specter. He is here to do the same. Your names have been submitted, and he is here to collect. Saffron, that is your turn.
And so it's this thing right here, right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to I'm gonna send a firebolt at it. That's a 22 to hit.
All right. Yeah. So you like kind of back away a bit to give yourself some room to do what you got to do. Describe to us what this magic looks like.
It looks like you just see her like move back, and then she just like does like this with her hands, and then you see this like it's like an arrow, but it's like fire that like goes straight at this thing.
All right, and it impacts. Go ahead, and roll damage.
That's 7 points of fire damage. And I think that's my turn. Wait, that's a cantrip. Let me see. Yeah, that's my turn.
Alrighty. Yeah, as your flame shoots out, this arrow soaring through the area, as you make your way to the edge of the platform, you can no longer see the bottom or the ground anymore. You're just up now, floating in this sea of mist. The trees are barely visible, and this creature is just standing still, gathering it, like substance, as more and more mist and shadow are coalesced to it. Awen, that is your turn.
How am I doing on the being able to speak side of things?
Oh yeah, you're being choked. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
E.
You are fine.
Hmm.
You might even like it a little bit, you freak.
And that was on a nat 1 on my screen for a hot second there. I was so
Yeah.
nervous for you, Chuck.
I saw it for the briefest moment. I went, seems about right. Awen will reach to her side and brandish a dagger, which seems like a foolish thing when you're being choked and presumably restrained. But as she kind of points the dagger at it, it will perform a little transformative act and turn into a... I don't know. So it can turn into any weapon?
Yep.
It will turn into a gun.
Oh shit. Any melee weapon? No, I'm just kidding. It's in there. It can definitely turn into a ranged weapon. So a gun is perfectly fine.
Alright. How do we syntax the attack?
So it's a D20 plus your dexterity plus your proficiency.
And +1 gets his magic.
Yeah.
Alright.
That'll hit.
And what's the damage on that one?
Let's see. I think a pistol is a D10.
That is ringing a bell. What is
D10 plus Dex mod plus magic.
1d10 piercing plus your dex. Plus 1 for the magic, yeah.
Bang!
Bang boom. Shot rings out from this magical blade that has transformed into a gun. Shoots off and blasts a bit of a hole in the specter, which quickly coalesces, the shadow stitching back to reform its full self.
And I assume, like, for movement-wise, I'm restrained and all that?
Yes, you are. Yeah, you're going to have to try to break out of there. It's an action to do so.
Yeah, so, we're done.
Cool. At the end of your turn, because you're being choked, it's alright, it's only 1 point of, choke damage. We'll call it force.
it's just a little kinky?
Yeah, just a little, just a light
Light
grip.
play. Yeah.
But that is going to be the Gallows speaker's turn. It swells up and begins to you begin to hear echoes all around you, and it's just people who are pleading their case, saying that they're innocent. They shouldn't be being hanged. It's just people pleading for their lives. I need let's see. Hey, when you're already being choked, I need Saffron to give me a wisdom saving throw. Alright, that will fail. You're gonna take... You take 18 points of psychic damage, and then waves of painful memories leap from you to the other three, and they take 16 points of psychic damage to everybody.
We are bloodied.
You guys just hear these moans and wails and pleads of people past, pleading for their lives, only to be silenced by the gallows. Atrek.
Right.
Your spiritual readings are off the charts.
This motherfucker right here walks up into this house and does goddamn psychic damage to me. I've got half a brain anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, Atrik's got half a brain. This fucker's causing us pain. Luckily for me, the other half of my brain is in use. Felton, I need a hand. As he pulls forward the echo that is Felton on the other side of this spirit.
Describe what this looks like.
Atrik is, I mean, this thing's like standing on the platform in front of us, right? Within range.
Yes. Yep.
Then as Atrik goes to step to it, Atrik will step to the left, and peeling out of Atrik is this silver. It almost looks like the mist surrounding the platform coalesces into a person as this almost smoke mist form of a person steps out of Atrik's body. His hand seems to drag behind him, pulling out of Atrik's chest a massive fucking great axe as it comes away. And in the other hand, he's got a door, a hatch. He's got a shield, but it's don't look like no regular shield. As this heavy-set man, taller than Atrik is, seems to shoulder his way into existence, stepping through the veil, using Atrik as a door. And then Atrik comes up to the other side of this thing and fucking swings at this goddamn ghost with his hammer.
Alright, roll damage. Roll attack.
Dark Moon is not the one. I want Orchid. Normal. Is a 17 hit.
It sure does.
No, hold up here. It's. Why are you only doing a D8? It should be a D10. Oh, because I didn't click there. Fuck. Okay, well, sorry. Adric is definitely only using two hands here. Damage. D10. Thank you.
Nice.
Beautiful. And this thing just hurt us. This thing, fuck it. We're gonna, Felton's gonna take an attack too. Unleash Incarnation.
Nice. Do it. Do it.
And as the hammer passes through it, Felton's axe comes in right behind. Luckily, a great axe and a hammer use the same dice roll, apparently.
Yep. Definitely hits.
Oh, it's made of spirit. It's fine.
Yeah, you guys try to coordinate your swings, and as your hammer impacts, that the nebel gas surrounding it, allowing it to impact this ghastly figure, kind of impacts it too well. And as Felton goes to swing, he kind of cuts through a bit that you've already pulverized through with your hammer, and doesn't do as much damage, but still the damage is done.
And then that's Atrik and Felton are gonna basically stalk this thing like a pack of wolves and stay up in its face.
Sounds good. Now, at the end of the round, you guys look all around you, and like I said, it's just like this platform is resting on a cloud of mist. The forest itself is nothing but just dark silhouettes that are being slowly encompassed by this mist, and this thing is just wailing and moaning, and there's just wind whipping around you as you guys continue to do damage to this thing. It's taking some hits, but still looking pretty good. Hector, your turn.
All right. How high off the ground is, quote unquote, Talia?
Talia is probably about 10 feet off the ground right now.
Okay. And it's just empty air. There's nothing around it.
No. You can
Okay.
see the spectral noose just kind of pulling up into the mist that's surrounding you. That's as if something is up there holding it.
Okay. 10 feet's too big, too high for me. With the dagger in hand and the remains of the cane in the other, he's going to rush at this thing with Atric there. What are our flanking rules in this game?
Our flanking rules for this game will be as long as you have another ally targeting the same creature, you can
Excellent.
benefit from flanking.
Love that. Here comes as he kind of rushes in, ducking under Atric a little bit. He comes up with the cane itself and just stabs it into this guy with advantage. 26, I'm pretty sure hits.
Yes, sir.
All right. Plus 2d6. $19 points of damage.
You stab into this thing, and you seem to find a very vital spot with your attack. And you seem to, like, as you cut into it, almost tear something open, and you feel like an inverse of air as if this thing is starting to, like, suck in and collapse on itself.
All right. And then the dagger comes around and slashes again. Advantage. 22 hits.
For sure.
9 points of piercing damage with the silver dagger.
Huge hits from Hector as you move in, now utilizing more combatants on the field to move around and get vital spots on this thing, or at least where you think vital spots could be. And you know you hit something great as this thing starts to moan and wail, and again, air begins to become dispersed as the mist actually starts to begin thinning around you guys, and this thing seems to be diminuting and shrinking down, but still stands.
Bonus action, I will disengage and move near wherever Talia is hanging
Okay.
and position myself for if she comes down.
All right, Saffron, that is your turn.
Yep, there comes a guiding bolt at this thing.
So we all know what guiding bolt looks like, but I want you guys to really get descriptive with these, especially for this particular game here, seeing as it's audio. So really describe to me what your actions look like. Don't hold back.
Okay, so it kind of looks like what she did before. She just looks mad and she's like, oh, this thing needs to die now. And she just like points her hands at this thing, and you see this like, it's like a flash, it's like lightning kind of hits this thing. Do I have advantage on this?
No, you wouldn't.
Okay.
But
And
you
that's
don't
a
need it.
18.
'Cause that hits.
And just see this lightning just like jumps out of her hand and goes through this thing and impacts it for 17 points of radiant damage.
You gather this energy and it crackles with electricity. Your hands come back. You yell, "This thing needs to die now!" You can just hear like the moans and intermingled with these moans and pleas. You can hear voices that you swear you know, but you just can't put faces to. And you can see all these like disembodied faces, just these gaunt, like shadowy faces moving along this thing's body. And it seems to be just shuddering and kind of dispersing into the mist a bit. And as it coalesces for one final move, you let loose your attack, and there's a light that bathes over everything. And all the mist and shadow disperses. And you guys are left there on the platform. This creature banished. The ticket booth is gone. And now all that is there is the platform and the silence. Talia comes crashing down. Hector, you're able to catch her. And you guys are out of combat.
As I catch her, I know you're not Talia. Talia. And then, let her down. Atric, that's your invisible buddy, I see.
His name is Hilton. And Atric walks up to Felton and shakes his hand and pulls him in for a hug. Thank you, friend. Rest. As he dismisses the echo. Reabsorbing Felton into himself. Less invisible, more tired. Stepping through to this side is exhausting. And he deserves his rest. Knows he's done more than enough for me.
Interesting individual. Spirit, whatever he actually is.
Good man.
Helpful.
Very. He's a good man. Better than I. Better than anyone I've met so far.
Well, that was unexpected.
Yes.
We're all bloodied.
Awen, or Talia, who knows at this point, will kind of rub at her throat, and she'll look at Hector, and someone earnestly ask, "So who am I?"
I didn't say I knew who you were. I just felt like I knew who you weren't.
A little bit of a sad look.
But I won't tell anyone else.
I feel like I'm missing something. Is everybody okay?
Well,
Little.
not really.
My head
Oh.
hurts a little bit after that, but I've had worse.
Oh. How bad does Saffron look?
She's pretty bad, but she will just cast Cure Wounds on herself. As usual. That's what she does.
The only time she casts healing spells is for Saffron.
Awen will look to be almost like she's walking up to cast the same spell if you
Well,
notice Cure Wounds.
I feel bad for everybody who, like, got hit, so I will cast Cure Wounds and twin spell it to cure 2 people. Don't tell me that I never healed any of y'all, okay?
The
Yeah,
one time.
1 for 1.
Can I save that for later? You know, when I'm doing death saves.
Okay, I don't know how. Okay, use ability. It says twin spell cannot be found. Okay, well, here. I'm gonna cast spell. And how do I twin spell it? Do I just...
You spend a sorcery point.
Yeah, you just erase the point from your pile.
Yeah, like, I can click on it and it says use ability and then it... Just spend 1 use of this item, 0 uses available.
Hold on.
Did I just like click on it and it went away?
Well,
Well,
after you added all of those abilities on the other day when we were adding everything, you should have hit long rest because all of those abilities come back used, like all your spell slots. Because when I did it, all of the spell slots, the ranger spell slots were used already, and the ranger abilities were used up. So that might have been
Oh.
it. You just didn't
yeah, that's
have them maxed out to begin with.
Oh.
yeah. So that's fine because you only have
3
I have a lot.
3.
equal to your level.
Yeah, but you twin spell. Who's the second person you're casting Cure Wounds on?
It's right next to me. It's Adric. It's right next to me.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Atric doesn't look as bad off as the rest of you guys do, but he's a pretty tanky boy.
You gotta get
Who
used
needs
to the
this
pictures.
most? What about
You and-
Hector?
You and Awen are both bloodied.
Well, Aven can heal herself.
I mean, I'll take it if you want to give it up, but
Sure.
he's not hurting.
Okay, I'm just
Awen's
gonna roll once,
gonna
right?
heal somebody.
There you go, Aven. Heal yourself. That's a 7. Do I have to roll for the other one or just use the same thing?
Roll for the other one.
Yay! There you go, Adric.
Appreciate you. Many thanks. And then I kind of forgot about it during combat there. Does Felton count as advantage for Atric?
Yeah, he
Okay.
yeah, he would.
Okay. I didn't use it. I forgot. But now I know.
Yeah, he's another combatant. He may only have 1 HP, but he's there.
That's all he needs.
Awen's gonna do the same spell as Saffron, but you'll see that it's her shadow kind of curls up around her, almost stands up out of itself. As a dark Awen softly whispers a nursery rhyme to Awen, to help with the boo-boos. As it goes, "Piggy on a railway line, picking up stones, down came the engine and broke the piggy's bones. 'Ah,' said the piggy, 'that's not fair.' 'Oh,' said the engine driver, 'I don't care.'"
Are you using AI to generate you a nursery rhyme?
Nope, that's a real one.
That's creepy as fuck.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
As the shadow whispers the world's creepiest nursery rhyme, Atric's gonna look at the other two. I'm not going to lie. I really thought I was going to be the strangest one here when I woke up today. I feel like I was just beat.
Also, you will see like kind of that blood that was on her is the thing that was mostly removed. The shadow just kind of slurped it down with it.
Interesting individuals we have here. But I guess we all fit in.
No one to speak. You seem to be pretty quick with that pig stick of yours.
I've had to stab a thing or two in my life.
Hopefully
You
they
were-
deserved it.
Creatures in the dark. Don't like being poked sometimes. I'm good at it.
Fair enough.
Speaking of which, we are in dim light with the sun, or with the moon, or is it pretty dark here?
Dim light.
Okay.
Dim light.
Okay.
You will almost always be in dim light in this campaign.
Okay.
Power overwhelming.
So not in darkness. Okay.
Awen will go. All of you must have been in your respective town guards.
No.
Mhm. Not quite, but we were protectors of a sort.
I was never really much of a fighter, to be honest. Picked up a hammer to defend the family caravan one time or two. Most of this is... Felton wasn't the only friend I've made. And he taps the... I'm gonna call it a badge sitting on his chest, which looks like a silver flower on the inside of a star. Some other friends seem to help when I need it. Their help is more lessons, less physical. Not much of them left anymore. I'm hoping the lessons stay, if nothing else does.
Awen will beam though and go. We'll never forget. The Archangel's always looking out for us.
I would hope so, but I've not going to lie, it seems like it's been a long time since I've seen Avacyn's light.
Awen will look around. She goes, "What do you mean? It's all around you."
Edric blinks and looks at the partially mist-covered landscape and the darkness of the moon.
If you look down, the shadow is definitely waving at you.
I might be going mad faster than I would have expected.
Don't worry. We all see the shadow. But
Okay. Huh.
that doesn't make it any less disturbing. But could be worse. We're not hanging anymore.
That was quite unpleasant, actually. It seemed very angry in trying to judge us, though that's typical for these monstrous beings. They think they have power to judge, but as we know, that's not their domain.
Anything like that seems to, form from hate and duty, pettiness, pride. And they seem to have some sort of core that they radiate from. Huh, at least that's what Sava always thought. So, if the trained men and the ghost were on the same space, what are the chances there's actually a train coming out here?
They took our tickets, though.
Actually, do we still have those tickets?
Yes, you do.
I do not. I don't believe I've ever seen a train ticket quite like this. Y'all.
I've never seen a train ticket.
You've never seen a train. What do you mean you've never seen a train ticket?
Well, I mean, we didn't have one in my village.
What? You're from a small hamlet, then I take it.
Quite small. I mean, maybe a dozen families?
That's not so many places like those left. Honestly surprised that your hamlet was able to survive much.
Well, the angel protected us. Her shadow came to us and warned us of dangers. Of those who weren't faithful.
That is good, I take it. Strange. Feels strange to me that you would choose a small hamlet over towns with hundreds of people in the most cities. But everyone has their own right to live, I suppose. That's just sure. Glad your angel was able to help you. But,
Also, I should add, I'm not Talia.
okay, Natalia, are you going to try to kill me?
No, I just, everybody was strangers here, and you all had fancy city names. So,
I don't know about fancy, but it was a gift from my parents, and I grew up in cities, or I grew up on the road more than I grew up on cities.
well, I mean, Hector is, what I would, normally associate with a more noble name. But, and she kind of waves a hand, I'm Awen.
Not Eowyn. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Adric. I suppose I should do this proper. I am Adric Wayland of the Wayland Trading Company, or what's left of it.
Sounds important. Awen has no idea what a trading company even is.
It was me, my family. Unfortunately.
So
I
you,
was
like,
not.
brought pots and pans to places?
Among other things, but yes. Pots, pans, linens, sheets, spices, salt, whatever we could get our hands on. We moved product from where it is to where it needs to be. We would often hit small hamlets where we could. Like you said, the trains don't get everywhere, but we try to fill in the gaps to bring the people in. I've seen more than I care to admit of towns burnt out and overrun.
So you would know, Old Man Borgie. He used to come in with his donkey every once in a while. It's the best way to, get a new pan.
Oldman Orgy. I don't believe that rings a bell to me, but We covered a small part of the continent. Perhaps you were further away. Not quite in our route. Whereabouts was your hamlet?
Uh, player question. Awen wouldn't fucking know, right?
No,
He never left.
She would know where she's from, in accordance to where it's at compared to where you are now. You don't know, but you would know where you're from, and you could choose anywhere in Innistrad.
We were near, I think the biggest city nearby was Stromkirk.
Stormkirk was a touch outside of where we ran. Touch south, from my memory. I would have to go look up a map, and well, that was always kind of Sava's thing. I more moved boxes and ran interference and spoke. Father would help me with that. Sava was better with the books and the learning. And the questions. Damn girl had so many questions. Damn it. You might be muted, Sylvan.
Stromkirk is a family.
I thought it was also the name of the hold.
Brunel is where Stromkirk Manor is.
Damn. He would have said that.
Not too far away from my neck of the woods, actually. I spent some time in the city. Fortunate dealings with the Stromkirk, if you could call it dealings, but not a good bunch, for sure.
Is the fact that the Stormkirks are vampires a widely known thing in Innistrad?
Yes.
You had dealings with...
They are the in our
family.
game at least, are the family.
Dealings is less the appropriate word, as run-ins.
That feels more accurate.
I don't think our village ever had a vampire come through. At least not in. I mean, old Nan used to say. I mean, we told a girl some years ago, but that was 50, 60 years.
Not having run-ins with vampires was lucky of you and yours.
I'll tell you what, Hector. I've got a list of names I need to cross out. If you want to help me with mine, I'll help you with yours.
Be happy to help, as long as you realize what that means we're getting into.
He kind of smiles, a self-depreciating smile. I'm already a dead man, Hector. From what I can tell, my heart is beating slower. This is borrowed time. And I've got a family of Skrbren that need to go. They took mine from me. I'm gonna come back and take them from themselves. Damn fools out there creating monsters. Let's see what happens when their monsters come hunting back for them.
I'm all about revenge for dead men. Don't worry. I know you're dead. Or were.
Well, somewhere in between.
That wouldn't do. You smell
Okay.
different.
To be fair, I haven't washed recently. Is it the jacket? I should probably oil it.
Awen will excitedly go, I can take care of your clothes. I consider myself a decent hand.
Perhaps I will ask for your help then. The jacket is one of the last things left from my father, though, so I'm unlikely to just hand that off. I hope you understand. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It's just...
No. Of course, I understand. I raised 2 boys. They were particular about certain items, too. But
When Hector said that, pointed at Saffron and said that one too, Saffron's like, what do you mean dead? I was never dead.
Well, if
I
you
might
think...
smell a little bad because I haven't had a chance to take a shower.
If he thinks you're like me, I am a body carrying 2 souls. I've never been this close to the spirits before. I knew what I was when I woke up.
Well, I might look like you, but that doesn't mean I was dead. She's like surprised. She doesn't know what Hector is talking about. She doesn't know that she was dead. It's like a surprise for her. Is that why that I don't feel like I'm breathing? Do you have to breathe?
Only when I need to speak. Or so far, at least.
She's thoroughly confused. She's like, I was dead and came back to life? Not
That's
really.
better.
You mean I wasn't able to cure myself fast enough to not be dead?
Did you try? Actually, I guess this is maybe a good spot to ask this question. What do any of you remember before we ended up here?
There is a hiss, and the smell of metal floods your nostrils. And standing, well, not standing, but resting in front of the platform is this long, stretching train. The train is vast and stretches across the tracks like a serpent of iron and brass. Its proportions are both awe-inspiring and macabre. Along its length, crimson streaks of paint cling to it in forms of blood on a butcher knife, sharp, fresh, and unsettling against the obsidian sheen. In the dim light, the red gleams faintly, like the glint of a dying ember. It seems to absorb the light around it, as though the train does not simply exist in this world, but takes the world into itself. The locomotive is crowned by an intricate network of iron pipes and soot-blackened chimneys, winding in strange, looping patterns that seem to make no sense. Jagged, gothic arches line the windows, the frames adorned with curling wrought iron that recalls twisted thorns. The front of the train bears an emblem, obscured in shadow. 2 eyes etched into the shape of a crescent moon, forever watching. The wheels themselves are enormous, set deep into the body of the train, covered in layers of grime and oil. They turn slowly, grinding against the tracks with the sound that vibrates your bones as this train drifts into a rest. A cart appears in front of you, and a door opens. illuminating the platform in a cone of light from the inside. And a conductor steps out and beckons to you all. All aboard! All aboard the Requiem. Destination Primrose. And he stands aside, bows, and beckons you into the door.
Awen will hop forward, kind of excitedly clapping her hands as she goes. Wow, real train. I can't wait to tell them. Oh, Hadar is gonna he's just gonna be amazed.
That is. I'm not sure I'm the most messed up person here right now. As he steps onto the train behind A1.
Saffron goes behind him and just says in a louder voice to Avon, well, you're very, very naive, but I'm glad you decided to come decided to be honest with us.
Awen might get like almost like doesn't have like stop to turn and try to talk, and might cause a trick to bump into her, and she goes, I am sorry about that. I just it was spooky.
Understand. And I push like Atric as like I'm trying to talk to her. It makes him bump.
They're just a boom, boom, boom.
All right, calm down, you two. Jeez.
The three
Sorry,
of you
Atric.
disappear into the light of the interior. Hector, you stand as the last person here on this platform. The man still bowed over, arm outstretched, beckoning you in. All aboard. Last call for Primrose.
Hector's gonna
Well,
stand there and not for long, but just for a couple seconds and think about what he actually said to Saffron, realizing in that moment that he could smell the difference in her. He kind of shakes his head. Lost in thought, he'll step on the train.
As you step on, we pan out to see your silhouette disappear into the light of the interior of this train. The conductor steps on behind you, and the door is shut. And with a hiss and a gentle lurch forward, the Requiem begins its journey. We watch as its long, slender frame disappears into the mist. And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
Very, very fun.
Fuck.